Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Let's get into it. So, the New York Giants signed a lineman, Max Garcia. They also lost a lineman in Will Hernandez. Will Hernandez goes to Arizona, reunites with his old line coach. Will Hernandez, see you later, man. Nice having you, but see you later. That leaves Saquon Barkley as the only 2018 draft pick left for the 2018 draft. So there's the Dave Gettleman draft classes are slowly leaving the Giants team. This is going to be a totally different team, and something came to mind with me, but we'll get into that in a minute. Let's just touch on Max Garcia, and we'll get into it. So Max Garcia, solid player in his 30s, spot starter, was a Pro Bowl alternate, played 11 games last year, gave up 4 sacks in those 11 games. Now, this signing is a quality depth signing. It gives you quality depth plus a guy who has starting experience. If you look at all the Giants linemen that they've signed, and they've signed 6, remember they started with 5, they got 6, they have 11 linemen in there that are going to compete for the starting position. May the best 5 win. They're probably going to bring in 2 more at least in the draft, and probably a couple UDFAs after the draft. So you're probably going to get you're at 11 now, you're probably going to get around, 14, 15 guys in here, and maybe more than that, depending. And guys will be let go. I mean, this is the time of the offseason you're going to see guys coming and going. So Max Garcia brings a little bit of edginess, a little bit of experience, both at the center position and the guard position. This is interesting. If you look at it, Feliciano, center guard experience. Jamil Douglas, center guard experience. Max Garcia, center guard experience. So the Giants are bringing in versatile linemen in the interior to kind of help the weakness of that team. Now, the good thing is they got guys that can be moved around, which is excellent in what you need. Garcia, I think, will be probably the starter on the left side. I think he'll beat out Shane Lemieux. This way you get Shane Lemieux some time to rehab his foot, his leg injury, and we'll see what happens. He picks up stunts really well. His pass blocking is pretty good. His run blocking is left to be desired. But there are going to be no excuses now for Daniel Jones. Absolutely none. The Giants are keeping Barkley, most likely. And the Giants came out and said that their guy is going to be Daniel Jones. Now, I don't buy their hype. You know, if you know you have the guy, you shouldn't need to fluff him and say, oh, he's our guy. What quarterbacks do that? Is they doing that in Green Bay? Well, Aaron Rodgers is our starter. No. They're not even doing that in Pittsburgh because they know Mitchell Trubisky right now is the starter. So there's no excuses. The other thing that's intriguing that I thought of, and I'll keep it that, I'll give you that thought in a second, is the Giants have brought in linemen to help him. Now he has no excuse. Let's see if Daniel Jones can overcome his deficiencies. Because a lot of it is excuses. There are no excuses now. I don't care who it is. They've added guys that experience that are going to come in and help this line. It's going to be a leaky line. It's not going to be 100% perfect. Probably be average. Those are the times where those guys can make plays. I see a lot of quarterbacks making plays outside the pocket, moving around. I mean, if you watch Kyler Murray, when you watch some of the highlights for Max Garcia, he's holding on to the ball, he's moving around, he's looking, he's buying time. That's the way the quarterbacks are going these days, and that's the way Brian Dable wants to run his offense. He likes a mobile guy. Daniel Jones is not a running quarterback, okay? He can run. He's not functionally in his repertoire to run, right? A guy like Sam Howell, Matt Corral, Willis, even Pickett have a little bit more mobility in terms of moving around the pocket and then running. Daniel doesn't have that, but we'll see what happens, But my one thing about Daniel Jones that I think is the reason why he's being kept is the Eli Manning lineage. Remember I said when Eli Manning has gone away, this team will be able to move on. Well, Daniel Jones is still a function of Eli Manning. And what I mean by that is they drafted him with his old quarterbacks coach. He's the next Eli Manning, blah, blah, blah. And until that cloud goes away, whether it be this year, next year, whatever, you're going to have John Mara who comes out and basically runs his mouth again and says, well, we're going to have to make these decisions. John, Come on. Don't act like you got to make a decision. Your decision has been made for you. Well, if you're sitting there and someone asks you, are you picking up Daniel Jones' option? And you're saying, we're going to discuss that. That means you ain't picking up Daniel Jones' option. Period. It ain't. And it's not a bad business decision to do that. It really isn't. It's a smart one. Because you want to see everything. There's a couple guys on here that I do believe the Giants want to really get a good look at. They want to get a good look at Daniel Jones, who, by the way, hasn't been cleared yet to practice. Okay? He hasn't. And he probably won't be till July as well, right? And at that point, he probably is not playing the 2 preseason games, hence Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, they said, is the backup quarterback. But to me, that's irrelevant because he's coming in with already an advantage of knowing slightly the way of philosophy of the Bills and things like that. He'll have more access to this offense because he'll be throwing in the OTAs because Daniel Jones is not ready. Davis Webb will be throwing in these days. These are the offseason things you do because you're going to save Daniel Jones for his best work in July. And this is why I think it's going to be hard for Daniel Jones right now because a new offense. He's struggled in his first few weeks as an offense right now, right? He struggled as an offense coming out with Pat Shurmur. He struggled in offense coming out with Jason Garrett. We all thought this would be, in year 2, would be his ascension up the ranks. We'll see what happens with Daniel Jones. Brian Dable is going to be a little bit more aggressive. If you look at the personnel they're bringing in the receiver package, you've got gadget players and slip screen players and little guys who can take the ball the distance from little spots all over the field. So I think the Giants are going to try to get one of those guys in the draft. Maybe the kid from UCLA. Maybe they'll try another possession receiver in Pierce from Cincinnati, but they might pick one up. But Daniel Jones has got to get his mechanics going because if he does not, the Giants are going to struggle. And there's nothing like the Giants coming out in the first few weeks because everyone says it's a soft schedule, but you still need to adjust to systems, and that's going to take a long time, especially if he's not starting with those reps with those guys from day one. Everyone's going to say, well, Adam, he's got Kenny Galladay, he's got Kadarius Toney. Those guys are in and out of the lineup this year. And I don't even know if Kadarius Toney is going to come for the offseason workouts. Who knows? He seems like one of those guys that'll show up when it's mandatory. But Tyrod Taylor, I think, will be taking the majority of the reps in the offseason OTAs as Daniel heals. There's no need to push him because there's no games to be played. Now in July, late July, or in middle of July, whenever they come in, because the Giants are going to be here early, those are where you're going to see the reps take place. And then the real live bullets come in September, and that's when we'll find out. If the Giants don't get off to a good start, you got to yank the kid. You got to yank the kid. If he's one of the reasons why they're struggling, offensively, you got to yank him. You got to yank him. There's a short leash this year. I don't want to hear any more excuses. And everyone's like, well, why don't you give him 8 weeks? Because they just told you. Last year, they got a guy in Tyrod Taylor. So if they're having a good season and Daniel goes out, which they expect Daniel to go out, they bring in a guy who can kind of keep the ship floated while they get in. Now, I'm thinking it might be a little tough with all these pieces to gel because they all haven't played together. They all have to get acclimated to each other. They all have to get, acclimated to their surroundings, on the football field, talking, hanging out. I'm thinking hopefully by week 4 or 5, 6, 7, hopefully by week 6 and later, this team can gel and start to go. But hopefully the Giants aren't in an 0-3, 0-4 hole by that time. And if that's the case, if you're 0-3, 0-4, 1-5, yank the guy, because at that point you don't need to see him, you need to see everybody else. And this is not a Daniel Jones slight. This is a no excuses anymore. They're putting a line in front of you. They're going to get a right tackle, whether that's Cross or Kwanu Neal or Penning, whoever they decide, whatever's going on, they're going to get a tackle. No excuses. This offseason for the entire NFL has been fun, but also for the Giants has been fun. And it's not over yet. There's still the possibility of Bradbury being traded, probably closer to draft time. You'll see that happen. And that'll kind of give you an idea of where they may go in the draft. Doesn't mean they'll get Sauce Gardner, but it could be one of those things where, you replace a good corner with another good corner. It never hurts to have a good corner. But with that being said, this has been your episode of the Hurry Up. Look for more episodes as we come down. If you like what you hear, subscribe, hit the like button. We have another show in Premium Takes coming at you every week on Sundays. We'll recap the week's sports, the news going forward, and any other piece of newsworthy material in the world of sports, even in the NFL, will be on Premium Takes. I'm your host of the Hurry Up, Adam. Have a great day.